free at last. With just those two short words, Jadon Sancho ignited a wave of controversy within the football community. His comment appeared under Marcus Rashford's social media post following his Aston Villa debut in the FA Cup on February 10. It not only reflected Sancho's personal feelings but also exposed a potentially concerning attitude towards his former club. Sancho's action was immediately condemned, seen as a sign of unprofessionalism and a potentially self-destructive move for his career. After a prolonged period out of favour at Manchester United, Marcus Rashford had been rescued by Aston Villa with a loan deal. His debut against Tottenham ended in a 2-1 victory for Villa. Rashford, understandably excited, took to Instagram to share the moment. However, what turned the post into a focal point of debate was Sancho's comment, "Free at last," accompanied by emojis of praying hands and a celebratory raised hand. This seemingly innocuous statement immediately caused a storm. Former Manchester United goalkeeper, Ben Foster, couldn't hide his outrage. "What is he doing? It's ridiculous." The reality is, Sancho is still a Manchester United player. And so is Rashford. This just further highlights the toxic culture at United, a place where everyone seems happy when someone leaves. Foster wasn't the only one to react strongly. Many Manchester United fans also voiced their criticism, arguing that Sancho was deliberately expressing his dissatisfaction with his former club, lacking basic respect for the club that had invested heavily in him. Jadon Sancho joined Manchester United in the summer of 2021 for a fee of £73 million, carrying the expectation of becoming a key player for the Red Devils. However, his performances on the pitch didn't match the hefty transfer fee. In 83 appearances for United, Sancho only scored 12 goals, a meager return compared to his time at Borussia Dortmund. Not only were his performances disappointing, but Sancho was also constantly involved in off-field controversies. Under Erik ten Hag, the Dutch manager publicly excluded him from the squad for not meeting the required attitude and performance standards in training. Instead of accepting this and striving to improve, Sancho immediately retaliated on social media, implying he was being made a scapegoat. This attitude led to his gradual exclusion from the team's plans, culminating in his loan move back to Borussia Dortmund at the start of 2024. However, just 6 months later, Sancho was loaned to Chelsea, where he has yet to rediscover his peak form, despite a relatively promising start with 3 assists in his first 3 games. Consistency has never been his strong suit. After an impressive victory against Tottenham in December 2024, where Sancho scored and created 8 chances for his teammates, he began a significant decline. In his next 8 games, he created only 11 chances. And notably, in his last 6, he failed to register a single goal or assist. His most recent match against Brighton in the 4th round of the FA Cup was a clear demonstration of his struggles. Playing 74 minutes, the Englishman didn't manage a single shot, failed to create any chances, and lost all 3 of his attempted dribbles. No longer the star known for his bursts of speed and incisive runs from his Borussia Dortmund days, Sancho now appears hesitant in decisive moments, slow in his handling of the ball, and completely harmless in front of goal. His declining form isn't solely due to technical factors but also relates to his mentality. Experts suggest he lacks the ability to handle pressure and adapt to the highly competitive environment at top English clubs. Sancho isn't the only player to leave Manchester United recently. Many others have sought opportunities elsewhere, but they've done so quietly and professionally. Anthony is gradually establishing himself at Real Betis, while McTominay has made significant strides at Napoli. In contrast, Sancho consistently generates controversy, not only with his "free at last" comment but also through a series of actions seemingly aimed at criticizing Manchester United. This leads fans to question, does the real problem lie with Manchester United? Or is Sancho the one to blame? This isn't the first time Sancho has taken a swipe at his former club. Before leaving United, he publicly contradicted Erik ten Hag after being dropped from the squad, claiming he was a scapegoat, despite the real issues stemming from laziness and lack of discipline in training. After joining Chelsea, he made further statements implying the environment at Stamford Bridge was far superior to that at United. From day one, I felt welcomed, Furthermore, Sancho has engaged in other indirect actions expressing his discontent with United. In a Chelsea TikTok video, when teammates were asked, "What's the easiest position to play in football?" Sancho sarcastically replied, "Sitting on the bench," a response that could be interpreted as a dig at his time on the sidelines at United. Another example is his quietly deleting all Manchester United-related posts from his social media, seemingly severing ties with the club. This act resembles someone deleting all traces of an ex-partner online after a breakup. A display of immaturity rather than the behavior of a professional athlete. Since moving to Chelsea, Sancho had a positive start but has gradually faded. In his last 10 games, he's only managed 1 goal and 1 assist, highlighting his inconsistent form. This suggests his problems aren't rooted in tactical systems or the playing environment, but originate within himself. A good player isn't judged solely on talent but also on attitude and conduct. Sancho's actions only tarnish his image in the eyes of fans. His unprofessional behavior is further evident in his repeatedly blaming the club instead of self-reflection. While at Borussia Dortmund, he also accused the club of making him a scapegoat. After leaving United, he continued to make statements implying unfair treatment. But in reality, his negligent training habits, lack of effort on the pitch, and poor sense of responsibility are the root causes of his failures. Jadon Sancho's talent is undeniable. At Borussia Dortmund, he was one of the Bundesliga's best wingers. But talent is only part of success. In the high-pressure world of professional football, responsibility and professionalism are crucial for a player to thrive. Sancho may believe Manchester United wasn't the right environment for him, but if he truly possessed the talent, he could have proven it through his performances on the pitch, not through negative insinuations on social media. Despite leaving United, Sancho is still contracted to the club and could return if Chelsea doesn't activate their purchase option. For a player on loan from United to publicly criticize the club is utterly ludicrous. Jadon Sancho had everything to become a star, talent, fame, and the opportunity to play for top clubs. But instead of striving to prove himself, he created obstacles for himself through his unprofessional attitude. The "free at last" comment wasn't just a spontaneous outburst but a sign of a weak mentality. A self-sabotaging act that undermines a career he could have developed further. While still under contract with Manchester United, Sancho's statement is tantamount to an act of defiance against the club that once placed great faith in him. The situation becomes even more farcical considering Sancho's current form at Chelsea, where he's struggling to rediscover himself after his forgotten days at Old Trafford. Publicly criticizing the Red Devils while still contracted to them not only demonstrates unprofessionalism but is also a self-destructive move. Modern football has no room for players who only complain and shift blame. If Sancho doesn't change soon, he risks becoming another forgotten talent of English football.